We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out there.
Caitlin Clark just got pulled from the WNBA All-Star Game. Not because she wanted to, not because she chose to, but because the league failed her again. She's the face of the WNBA, the reason the ratings exploded, and the single biggest name in women's basketball history. And now, she'll be watching the biggest weekend of the season from the sidelines. But this isn't just about a groin injury. This is about broken leadership, botched officiating, and the billion-dollar star the league is slowly destroying. Because if something doesn't change fast, Caitlin Clark might not just leave the All-Star Game. She might leave the WNBA altogether. And Adam Silver, he's already warning them.
I'll leave the specific question about the foul to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. Other than as a fan, obviously, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to the league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly.
It happened in the final minute of a hard-fought win against the Connecticut Sun. Caitlin Clark went down, again, a re-aggravated groin injury, the same one that already sidelined her earlier this season. But this time, the timing was brutal. The All-Star Game was supposed to be her moment. In her home state, the entire weekend in Indianapolis had been branded around her. Posters, commercials, arena banners, even airport billboards featured her face. But now, she's out. Not just from the All-Star Game, but the three-point contest too. And the fans? They're devastated. But behind the scenes, the executives, they're panicking. Because this wasn't just another injury. This was a warning flare. Caitlin Clark had played through everything at Iowa, never missing games, never breaking down, always showing up. But in the WNBA, her body's breaking down fast. And people are starting to ask the question nobody in league offices wants to hear. Is the WNBA slowly destroying its most valuable player? What happened next didn't calm any fears. In fact, it made everything worse. Adam Silver wasn't scheduled to speak on this. But when Caitlin Clark was ruled out, he couldn't stay quiet. Standing at a press conference, the NBA commissioner chose his words carefully. He called for Clark to be treated fairly and appropriately. But anyone who's been around this business knows exactly what that means. That wasn't just support, that was a shot across the bow. Because when the head of the NBA starts commenting on the other league's officiating, it's player safety and it's leadership. It's not a compliment, it's a warning. Silver knows the stakes. He knows Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the financial backbone of the WNBA. Her games lead viewership. Her highlights drive social media. Her presence sells out arenas. So when she's sidelined because of repeated hits, poor officiating, and injuries that could have been avoided, Silver isn't watching like a casual fan. He's watching like a business partner whose billion-dollar investment is being fumbled. And his frustration is growing, because this isn't the first time Clark's been hurt. And it definitely won't be the last, unless someone steps in. But the real question is, where is the WNBA's leadership in all of this? Unfortunately, that's where the story goes from bad to worse. While Adam Silver spoke up, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert stayed silent. Or worse, she deflected. Asked directly about Caitlin Clark's treatment, Engelbert gave a now infamous response. Well, Caitlin and Angel, except no one asked about Angel Reese. They asked about Clark. And instead of addressing the league's most valuable player, the commissioner pivoted, awkwardly, visibly uncomfortable, as if even saying Clark's name was a political risk. And the backlash was immediate. Longtime sports journalist Christine Brennan didn't hold back. She called out Engelbert for her astounding inability to just state the obvious, that Clark is being mistreated and officials are failing to protect her. It's not just a PR problem, it's a leadership vacuum. Because if the commissioner can't publicly support the league's biggest star, what message does that send? Clark isn't asking for special treatment. She's asking to not be shoved after the whistle. She's asking to not be hacked on every screen. She's asking for basic professional officiating, the kind any league claims to provide. But Engelbert won't say it, won't demand it, won't lead. And with every non-answer, she's losing the trust of fans, players, and even broadcasters. Because this isn't about playing favorites. It's about protecting the player who built your audience, grew your revenue, and made your sport matter to millions. The silence isn't neutral, it's neglect. And it's that vacuum at the top that's allowed the next crisis to spiral completely out of control. The numbers don't lie. 141 injuries in a league of just 179 players. That's not just bad luck, it's a catastrophic failure. And everyone can see it. WNBA legends like Rebecca Lobo have openly slammed the refs on live TV, calling out the constant grabbing, holding, and fouling that goes uncalled. Coaches like Stephanie White have gone further, calling the officiating egregious and disrespectful, saying it's unbelievable how poorly the league's officials are managing games. This isn't casual complaining, it's a public outcry, because the officials aren't just missing calls. They're allowing a dangerous, chaotic style of play to flourish. The game is faster, stronger, more physical than ever. But instead of adapting, officials seem overwhelmed or unwilling to control the violence on the court. Fouls are called inconsistently. What's a foul in the first quarter isn't called in the fourth. Players get roughed up without consequence, and the warning signs ignored. This mess hit a peak during the Fever vs. Sun game when the refs lost total control. 5 technical fouls, 3 ejections, and 2 flagrant fouls. Yet, officials still failed to call obvious fouls on Clark, the very player most targeted by the opposing team's aggression. When legends, coaches, and players all agree the officiating is broken, it's not just a problem, it's a crisis, and it's one that's not getting fixed. If there's one moment that put the WNBA's officiating crisis on full display, it was this. Marina Mabrey shoving Caitlin Clark to the floor after the whistle. At first, the officials only gave Mabrey a technical foul. No flagrant, no immediate ejection, just a slap on the wrist. But the public wasn't having it. Outrage exploded across social media. Fans, players, and analysts demanded justice. The league scrambled and eventually upgraded the call to a flagrant 2, forcing Mabrey out of the game. That's not just a missed call. It's a failure to protect the league's most valuable asset, one that cost Clark her health and the Fever their star. Even Clark's own brother weighed in, blasting the referees on social media, saying bluntly, "This is on the refs." When family members start publicly blaming officiating for injuries, it's no longer just a sports controversy, it's a scandal. And the damage goes far beyond just one play. Because that shove wasn't an isolated incident. It was the culmination of weeks of aggressive fouling without consequences. A pattern of officials turning a blind eye to dangerous behavior. That's why Clark's injury isn't just a personal setback. It's a symbol of systemic failure. And as this controversy grows, so does the cost, not just to players, but to the entire league's future. When Caitlin Clark plays, the numbers skyrocket. But when she's out, the league feels the shockwaves hard. Since Clark's injury, nationally televised WNBA games have lost more than half their viewers. Viewership has plunged from nearly 1.8 million to under 850,000, an astonishing 53% drop. That's millions of fans gone in the blink of an eye, millions in lost advertising dollars, millions in potential revenue that suddenly vanish. Even sports betting tells the same story. Betting on Indiana Fever games dropped nearly 50% after Clark's injury. When gamblers lose interest, that means fewer bets, less excitement, and ultimately less money flowing into the league. This isn't just a blip, it's a financial crisis. ESPN saw a 170% increase in WNBA ratings this season, with Clark's games leading the surge. ION TV followed with a 133% jump in viewership, all riding on her star power. But without Clark on the court, that momentum stalls, and the WNBA's billion-dollar growth projections start to look shaky. Clark isn't just a player. She's the engine driving the league's popularity and profits. And the WNBA's failure to protect her health could cost the league millions, if not more. This sharp drop in ratings and revenue is a warning sign. If the league can't keep its biggest star safe and on the court, the financial fallout could be catastrophic. And the pressure to fix this crisis, it's only mounting. Imagine this. The entire city of Indianapolis decked out with Caitlin Clark's face. Billboards, airport banners, even hotel signs. All celebrating the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend. It was supposed to be Clark's moment, the league's shining star, finally center stage in her home state. But she won't play a single minute. She'll be watching from the sidelines. The city and the league invested heavily in this weekend. They are building an event around a player they failed to protect. It's a glaring disconnect. Branding Clark as the face of the league, then letting her get sidelined by preventable injury. That disconnect tells a story of poor leadership and misplaced priorities. Fans expected to see the WNBA's brightest star shine. Instead, they're left with an empty spotlight. And it's not just optics. When your marquee player can't even participate in your biggest event, what message does that send to sponsors, broadcasters, and fans? That the league isn't ready to prioritize player safety, that marketing takes precedence over real protection. This weekend became a symbol, not just of Clark's injury, but of everything wrong with the league's management. If the WNBA can't keep its star healthy during its biggest weekend, how can it expect to grow? This isn't just a missed game. It's a warning sign flashing in neon. And as the All-Star weekend fades, a deeper crisis looms, one that could shake the very foundation of the league's future. The clock is ticking. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement expires October 31st, 2025. Players want bigger shares of the revenue they're generating. And who can blame them? After all, Caitlin Clark's breakout performances have propelled the league into the spotlight like never before. But here's the catch. How do you negotiate a better deal when the league's biggest revenue driver is injured? When your star player's health is at risk because of poor officiating and weak leadership? It's a paradox that's unraveling the WNBA's future. Players are bracing for a potential work stoppage, a lockout that could wipe out an entire season. And with Clark sidelined, the leverage for the league to hold strong grows. The injury crisis isn't just a medical problem. It's a bargaining problem, a financial problem, a survival problem. Because if the league can't prove it can protect its stars, especially its most valuable one, why should players, sponsors, or fans believe in its long-term viability? The negotiations aren't just about dollars. They're about trust. Trust that the league values its players. Trust that it can grow sustainably. Trust that it can avoid another catastrophic injury that threatens the entire business model. Right now, that trust is fraying fast. And unless something changes, the WNBA faces more than just lost games. It faces a collapse that could rewrite the future of women's basketball forever. Caitlin Clark was an Iron Woman throughout college and her rookie season, never missing a game, never sidelined by injury. So why is she suddenly breaking down in the WNBA? The answer lies in a broken system. The WNBA's officiating structure is flawed at its core. Referees aren't full-time employees. They're paid per game, splitting time between college hoops and the pro league. That dual role creates divided loyalties and inconsistent standards. Training and accountability, almost non-existent. And when officials aren't properly incentivized to protect players, dangerous fouls slip through the cracks. Aggressive, borderline reckless play becomes the norm. Clark's injuries, from quad to groin and back again, are signs of a body under constant abuse. Sports analysts warn that when injuries keep moving, it means the underlying mechanics are damaged. It's not just bad luck, it's a direct result of poor officiating and failure to enforce rules. This isn't just about one player. It's about the league's leadership failing to prioritize player safety at every level. From the commissioner's office down to the referees on the court, the WNBA has allowed a culture of neglect to fester, and the consequences are clear. Clark's injuries are a symptom of a league that's growing fast, but failing to protect its most valuable assets. The NBA is watching, and so is the entire sports world. Because when a league can't protect its star player, it risks losing everything that star represents. This crisis was preventable, and unless drastic changes happen soon, it won't be the last time. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie shining bright. She's the lifeline of the WNBA. Her talent, her star power, and her resilience have lifted the league to heights no one thought possible. But that lifeline is fragile. The league's failure to protect Clark, from poor officiating to weak leadership, is more than just a problem. It's an existential threat. Adam Silver's warning isn't a suggestion, it's a deadline. Fix the broken officiating. Stand up for your players. Protect your biggest stars. Because if the WNBA doesn't act now, it risks losing its crown jewel, and with it, the future of women's basketball. The question isn't just whether Caitlin Clark will play in the next All-Star Game. It's whether the league will survive long enough to see it. And that's a story still being written.